In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Praise be to Allah, who determines how everything is and is free from any limitations. His presence transcends every place, and He is beyond all space. He is found in everything, yet He is free from being bound by any physical dimensions. He is present at all times, but He is beyond being defined by time. He is the first of all things and has no end. His freedom from limitations offers a sense of liberation and transcendence. If you ask where, you are demanding Him to be defined by place. If you ask how, you're demanding Him to be defined by how He exists. If you ask when, you are limiting Him to a point in time. If you say there is none, you deny His existence in creation. If you say if only, you are implying something lacking in His essence. If you ask why, you are questioning His divine will. Glory be to Him, who cannot be preceded by any before nor followed by any after. He cannot be compared to anything nor associated with any likeness. He is beyond any form or shape, and His incomparability inspires awe and reverence. Glory be to Him. If He were a shadow, He would be known by quantity. If He were a body, He would be composed of parts. But He is one without any comparison. His uniqueness makes us feel exclusive and special in His sight. The Diwan of Al-Jilani. How can the describer reach the description of the pole Qutb? There is no way in reality except that he has a firm grasp on it, no degree in wilaya, spiritual authority, except that he holds a solid position in it, no station in the end of the journey except that he has a firm step in it, no confrontation in the witnessing of divine truths except that he has a source of enjoyment in it, no ascension to the realms of divine presence except that he has a path leading to it, no matter in the kingdom and the unseen world, except that he has an extraordinary revelation in it, a profound understanding that transcends ordinary perception. No secret in the worlds of the unseen and the witnessed, except that he has an insight into it, a deep understanding that goes beyond surface knowledge. He is the one upon whom the leadership of this matter has come to rest, and to whom the destiny of the universe and its people in his time is entrusted. He is the one who embodies the qualities of the human being at its highest perfection, and is the one who is designated as the pole, the highest spiritual station. The qualities of this pole are those of the perfect human, the realizer of divine truth, the sage, and the archetype. His qualities are so awe-inspiring, they leave us in wonder. There is no existence without Him being a part of it, no action without Him being involved in it, no light without Him sharing in it, and no knowledge without Him having a presence in it. His influence is all-encompassing, touching every aspect of our existence. He is the one who, without fail, guides everything to its ultimate purpose. There is no honor except that it is directed towards Him, no station that He is not drawn to, no soul except that it finds its love in Him. He is the bearer of the banner of dignity, the one who draws the sword of power, the ruler of the time, the sovereign of armies of love. Those near Him do not suffer, and nothing of His state is hidden. He stands as the highest in spiritual rank, with no one above His station, no realm higher than His realm, and no existence more complete than His existence. His station is unique and unparalleled, making Him the sole occupant of such a position. He's the closest to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. His essence mixed with the nature of the divine, bringing about the perfect manifestation of His grace and power. He is the one who, by His station, attains the complete perfection of existence, with every secret of the divine revealed to him. If this matter had a tongue to describe it, you would hear and see wonders beyond imagination, such as the beauty of divine love, the depth of spiritual wisdom, and the perfection of the human essence. This is the realm of divine love and wisdom, where the nature of the perfect human reaches its zenith. This is a highly symbolic text, with much of its meaning relying on metaphysical concepts and mystical language common in Sufi teachings, particularly those concerning the idea of the Qutb pole, the spiritual center of the universe and the perfect human being. If you need further clarification or a deeper exploration of any specific section, feel free to ask. The Diwan of Al-Jilani continued. He is the one who, through his profound spiritual authority, dispenses divine wisdom. His authority is not a mere concept, it is a tangible reality in the lives of those who follow him. His being is both transcendent and immanent, connecting the unseen and the witnessed worlds through his presence. In his heart, the divine wisdom unfolds like a flower in full bloom, and his teachings are the nectar that nourishes the souls of seekers. The essence of his teachings. He is not bound by the limitations of time or space. His wisdom transcends the conventional understanding of existence, for he mediates between the divine and the earthly. His knowledge is beyond human comprehension, yet it flows through him effortlessly, guiding those prepared to receive it. His connection to the divine is absolute. He is not separated from the source of all creation. His path is not mere intellectual understanding. It is a journey of spiritual realization. He leads his followers beyond the mundane into the divine presence, where they experience the unity of all existence. In this state, the distinctions between self and other, between the seen and the unseen, dissolve into the oneness of the divine. Spiritual transformation is complex. It requires total submission and surrender to the divine will. The seeker must strip away the layers of ego and desire and become a pure vessel for heavenly light. Through the guidance of the pole, this process becomes possible as the pole embodies the perfect balance between the outer and the inner, between action and contemplation. The pole is the bridge that connects the human soul to the divine realm. In his presence, the seeker becomes attuned to the divine frequency, a state of heightened spiritual awareness and connection. Through this attunement, the soul begins to reflect the divine attributes. Each moment spent in the company of the pole is a moment of profound transformation, where the seeker sheds the illusions of the material world and steps into the eternal reality. As the pole perceives, the divine reality is not a distant or abstract concept. It is a living, breathing force that permeates all things. The pole sees beyond the veil of material existence and perceives the true essence of everything. The physical senses do not limit his sight. A spiritual vision considers all things nature as they are. In this state of divine perception, the pole experiences a deep sense of unity with all of creation. He recognizes that all beings, all forms are reflections of the sacred, and he treats every moment as an opportunity to witness the unfolding of divine beauty in the world. The pole is a mystery to those who follow him and those who do not. His station is so high that it is beyond the grasp of ordinary understanding. Yet, despite his transcendent nature, he is deeply involved in the world, guiding and supporting those who seek his help. His actions are not driven by personal desire or ambition, but by a profound commitment to the divine will. He is the axis around which the universe turns, the center of the spiritual realm. Through him, the divine will is manifested in the world, and through his guidance, the seeker can attain the highest spiritual realization. He is the means and the end, the path and the destination, the light and the mirror, reflecting that light. The divine light that the pole embodies is not a mere intellectual concept, but a tangible, living presence that can be experienced. This light is the source of all wisdom, and through this light, the seeker comes to understand the true nature of reality. The seeker's heart becomes illuminated in the pole's presence, and the darkness of ignorance and confusion is dispelled. This light does not only illuminate the mind, it also transforms the soul. It purifies the heart, removes the impurities of the ego, and fills the seeker with divine love. In this state, the seeker becomes one with the sacred, and the distinctions between the self and the divine begin to fade. The ultimate goal of the seeker is to realize the unity of all existence, the oneness of the self and the divine. Through the guidance of the pole, the seeker comes to understand that there is no separation between the self and the sacred, and that all forms are manifestations of the same underlying reality. This realization is the highest form of spiritual knowledge. Through this knowledge, the seeker attains true freedom. It is an inspiring journey towards unity and freedom. In this state of unity, the seeker transcends the limitations of time, space, and individuality. The seeker becomes one with the divine, and all distinctions between self and other dissolve. This is the ultimate realization, the highest station of spiritual attainment, and through the guidance of the pole, the seeker can reach this divine state. The pole plays a crucial role in guiding the seeker towards this ultimate realization. These sections continue the exploration of the pole's spiritual authority, the transformative power of his guidance, and the ultimate realization of unity with the divine. Each passage builds on the previous one, emphasizing the central role of the pole in connecting the human soul to divine wisdom and truth. This journey of transformation offers hope and a path to spiritual growth. The pole is a being whose very existence expresses divine mercy. He holds the key to the hearts of the seekers, and through his guidance they are drawn into the divine embrace. His role is that of a mediator, a guide who leads the soul through the various stages of spiritual growth until it reaches its ultimate destination, union with the divine. This embrace is not just metaphorical, it is a real, palpable experience for those who can attune themselves to the divine frequency, a state of spiritual resonance or alignment with the divine. The pole's teachings are not abstract philosophies, but practical steps that lead to this transformative union. His presence catalyzes spiritual awakening, igniting the soul's longing for the divine. The path of selflessness. The seeker on the path of the pole must cultivate selflessness. The ego must be purified and dissolved with its desires and attachments. The pole teaches that actual spiritual attainment is not found in fulfilling personal desires, but in surrendering the self to the divine will. This path requires great discipline, patience, and perseverance. The seeker must learn to let go of worldly attachments and embrace the life of service to the divine. The more the seeker can relinquish their desires and ambitions, the closer they realize their true nature, one with the divine. The role of the divine attributes. The pole is not only the guide to the divine, but also a mirror reflecting the divine attributes. Through him, the seeker can understand and embody the qualities of the sacred love, compassion, wisdom, and power. The pole exemplifies these qualities in their purest form, and it is through his example that the seeker learns how to cultivate these attributes in their own life. By embodying the divine attributes, the seeker becomes a faithful servant of the sacred, living in harmony with the divine will. These attributes are intellectual concepts and qualities the seeker must internalize and live by daily. The more the seeker reflects the divine attributes, the more they come to embody the divine presence. The challenge of the inner journey. The journey to the divine is not an easy one. It is fraught with challenges, both external and internal. With its distractions and temptations, the external world can often lead the seeker astray. But the more significant challenge lies within, the battle against the ego, the false self, that seeks to maintain its dominance over the soul. The seeker must confront their inner darkness, the layers of pride, fear, and attachment that cloud their vision and obstruct their progress. Through the pole's guidance, the seeker can navigate these challenges, shedding the false self and stepping into the light of the divine. The role of the community. While the path to the divine is a profoundly personal journey, the seeker is not alone. The pole's presence creates a community of like-minded individuals striving for spiritual realization. This community provides vital support, encouragement, and guidance as the seeker progresses, fostering a sense of connection and reassurance. The pole's role in fostering this community is essential. He is the center that holds the community together, the source of spiritual nourishment and guidance. Through his teachings, the seeker learns the importance of living in harmony with others serving the greater good and recognizing the divine in all beings. The true nature of reality. Through his direct connection to the divine, the Pole perceives reality as it truly is, a unified whole in which all things are interconnected. Through the Pole's guidance, the seeker begins to see the world in the same way. The distinctions between self and other, between the sacred and the profane, dissolve into the recognition that all of existence is a manifestation of the divine. This realization is not merely intellectual, but experiential. The seeker comes to directly experience the unity of all things, the interconnectedness of life, and the divine presence that pervades every aspect of existence. Through this experience, the seeker attains actual spiritual knowledge and insight, feeling fully engaged and involved in their spiritual journey. The ultimate goal, union with the divine. The ultimate goal of the seeker is union with the divine. This is the highest state of spiritual realization, where the seeker becomes one with the divine essence. Through the guidance of the Pole, the seeker can achieve this state, transcending the limitations of the ego and the material world. In this union, the seeker is no longer separate from the divine. They are one with the divine presence, and all distinctions between self and other, between the finite and the infinite, disappear. This is the ultimate state of freedom, where the soul is liberated from the ego's confines and the material world's limitations, experiencing a profound sense of peace, joy, and unity with the divine. The eternal presence of the Pole. Even after the physical departure of the Pole from this world, his presence remains eternal. The Pole is not limited by time or space, for he is a being of the divine realm. His influence continues to guide and protect those who seek his guidance, even after his physical death. This eternal presence is felt by those who are genuinely connected to the Pole. His teachings, wisdom, and love continue to resonate in the hearts of his followers, guiding them on their spiritual journey. The Pole is not just a historical figure, he is a living presence in the lives of those attuned to the divine. These sections explore the more profound spiritual implications of the Pole's role in the lives of his followers, the challenges faced in the journey toward union with the divine, and the ultimate realization of divine oneness. Let me know if you want to explore further or need any clarification. The Pole's inner nature. The Pole's inner nature is a profound embodiment of simplicity and purity. Despite the diverse roles he may assume externally as a teacher, guide, or protector, his inner essence remains steadfast and unchanging. This essence transcends dualities, remaining unaffected by the world's ever-changing states. It is an embodiment of divine peace, a peace that surpasses all suffering and conflict. From this state of peace, he draws his immense spiritual power, guiding his followers towards spiritual awakening. Those who seek his guidance are drawn to his words and presence, which carry a deep sense of tranquility and wisdom. The Pole embodies the truth that true spiritual power is not exerted forcefully, but is instead radiated naturally from the depth of an enlightened being's inner being. The unspoken teachings. The Pole's teachings are not always verbal. Often his most profound lessons are transmitted through silence and presence. The seeker, attuned to the Pole, will understand that there are layers of wisdom beyond words, and that the essence of the Pole's teachings is conveyed in the energy emanating from him. This silent transmission is more than just intellectual understanding. It is an experiential realization that can only be grasped through the heart, not the mind. This unspoken wisdom often transcends the dualities of language. Through constant exposure to the Pole's presence, the seeker learns to receive teachings, not just with their intellect, but with their entire being. The Pole does not merely teach with words, he teaches through his very existence, and the disciple learns from his example of divine surrender, compassion, and grace. The heart plays a pivotal role in the journey toward the divine. The pole's teachings stress that true spiritual knowledge is not attained through intellectual effort alone, but through the awakening of the heart. In this context, the heart symbolizes the innermost core of the seeker's being, the place where the divine spark resides. With his deep compassion and love, the pole calls the seeker to awaken this divine spark, cultivate love and humility, and turn inward toward the truth that lies within. As the seeker learns to open their heart to the sacred, they experience the transformation of their entire being, moving from a state of separation to one of unity with all that is. Through the heart, the seeker encounters the divine presence and comes to know the ultimate reality. The path of the seeker is indeed long and arduous, and patience is a virtue that must be cultivated along the way. The pole teaches that spiritual progress is not measured by external achievements or the passing of time, but by the growth of the inner self. Through patience, perseverance, and devotion, the seeker moves closer to the divine. The seeker who grows impatient or seeks shortcuts will be diverted from the proper path. The pole's wisdom teaches that all things unfold in their proper time, and the seeker must trust in the divine plan. Actual spiritual progress is gradual, and the seeker must be willing to endure the challenges and obstacles that arise along the way, trusting that each difficulty is a step closer to realizing the divine truth. Faith is a cornerstone of the seeker's journey. The pole teaches that faith is not an unquestioning belief, but a deep inner knowing that the divine is always present and guiding the seeker. This faith does not waver in the face of challenges or adversity. Instead, it strengthens the seeker's resolve to continue. Faith, in this sense, is an act of surrender. It is the willingness to let go of the ego's need for control and to trust that the divine will unfold according to its perfect wisdom. As the representative of the divine will, the pole offers the seeker the strength to maintain this faith, even when faced with doubt or uncertainty. Through the pole's presence, the seeker is reminded of the unshakable truth that the divine is always with them. The challenge of detachment. Detachment is a fundamental aspect of the seeker's spiritual journey. The pole's teachings emphasize that attachment to worldly things, material possessions, relationships, or even personal desires, creates obstacles to spiritual realization. The seeker must learn to cultivate a sense of detachment, not by renouncing the world entirely, but by recognizing that the material world is fleeting and transient. The seeker must learn to enjoy the world without becoming attached to it and to live fully without being enslaved by desire. Through his example of detachment, the pole shows that true freedom comes from the ability to live in the world while remaining unaffected by its fluctuations. Detachment is not the abandonment of the world, but the cultivation of a deep inner peace not disturbed by external circumstances. The divine presence in everyday life. The pole teaches that the divine is not limited to sacred spaces or moments of intense spiritual practice, but is present in every aspect of everyday life. The seeker who is attuned to the pole's teachings comes to understand that the divine is present in every breath, every action, and every encounter. The seeker aims to bring this awareness into all aspects of life, transforming ordinary moments into opportunities for spiritual realization. The pole demonstrates this truth through his own life, showing that every action, no matter how mundane, can be infused with divine intention and awareness. The seeker is called to live each moment in a state of mindfulness, recognizing that the sacred is always present, even in the most ordinary tasks. The eternal journey. The journey towards spiritual realization is, in many ways, eternal. The pole teaches that while there are certain milestones on the path to the divine, the journey itself is a continuous unfolding. Even after achieving union with the sacred, the seeker continues to evolve and grow, discovering ever deeper layers of truth and understanding. The seeker is not simply seeking an end point, but a continual transformation process. The pole's role is to guide the seeker toward the ultimate goal of union with the divine and teach them to enjoy the process of awakening and growth. The pole's guidance is not confined to a single moment in time, but extends beyond the physical world's limits, accompanying the seeker throughout their eternal journey. And the final union with the divine, which the pole guides the seeker toward, is a moment of ultimate freedom and realization. In this union, the seeker experiences the dissolution of the ego and the merging of the self with the divine essence. All distinctions between the seeker and the sacred, between the created and the creator, disappear, leaving only pure, undivided consciousness. This union is the culmination of the spiritual journey, where the seeker no longer perceives themselves as separate from the divine, but as an inseparable part of the sacred whole. In this state of unity, the seeker experiences infinite peace, love, and joy, and their soul is liberated from the cycle of birth and death. The pole, as the guide and teacher, facilitates this union, leading the seeker to the realization that they were always one with the divine, and that the journey itself was a process of remembering this eternal truth. The final sections explore the pole's role in the seeker's spiritual journey and their union with the divine.
I am the one who seeks help from none other than God, and I find solace in him alone. God said, "O greatest helper, I am here." I replied, "Here I am, O Lord of the greatest helper." The stages between the material world, NSUT, and the spiritual realms, Melkwt, are all forms of law, Shrig. The phases between the kingdom, Milkwat, and the divine power, Jabrut, are the methods, Trick, while the stages between divine power, Jabrut, and the ultimate divine essence, Liut, are the truths, Kwaitu. The human being is my mount, and all the rest of creation is its mount. And through this creation, the inner secrets are revealed. If a human truly understood their position with me, they would declare in every breath, "There is no sovereignty today except for me." The stages of existence, body and soul, hearing and sight, hands and feet, these are all manifestations of me, for I am in them all. I am the one who moves them and gives them place. When you see someone burning in the fire of poverty and broken by overwhelming need, come closer to them, for there is no barrier between us. I made poverty and need the vehicle for the human being. Those who ride it will reach the station before they traverse the deserts and valleys. Do not eat, drink or sleep without being present in heart and vision. For those who are absent in heart during their journey will only increase in distance from me. If one is happy with eternal happiness, blessed they will be. If one is destined for eternal misery, woe unto them, they will never be accepted again. If the human being knew what awaits them after death, they would not wish for life in this world, and in every moment they would say, "O Lord, take me to you." On the day of judgment, the proof of all creatures before God will be those who are blind, deaf, and dumb, not in the physical sense, but in their inability to see, hear, or speak the truth. O greatest invocation, Yaguth al-Azam, love, a powerful veil, transforms the lover, guiding them towards union with the beloved when they surpass its bounds. O Guth al-Azam, I saw souls dancing in their forms from Am I Not Your Lord to the Day of Judgment. O Guth al-Azam, whoever asks me about vision after knowledge is veiled by expertise. Whoever thinks that vision is the essence of knowledge is deceived by the vision of the Lord. O Guth al-Azam, if anyone sees me, they do not need to ask in any state, and those who do not see me, their asking is of no benefit to them. The words veil them. O Guth al-Azam, in Sufism, poverty is not a lack, but a state of possessing something in all matters. When the impoverished say be, it becomes. O Guth al-Azam, I do not find companionship or kindness in the gardens after my appearance, nor loneliness or burning in the fire after my discourse with its people. O Guth al-Azam, I am nobler than every noble and more merciful than every merciful. O Guth al-Azam, sleep with me, not like the sleep of ordinary people. You will see me. O Guth al-Azam, who is not impoverished, cannot attain my companionship. Poverty must be followed by poverty of poverty, then poverty from poverty, until there is nothing but me. O Guth al-Azam, if someone is thirsty on a hot day and you are the owner of cool water, yet you have no need for it and you deny them, then you are the most miserly of the miserly. How can I deny them my mercy when I am the most generous of the generous? O Guth al-Azam, there is no distance from me due to sins, nor closeness to me due to acts of worship. It is the inner state that determines one's proximity to the divine. Love and longing. The opening lines convey the intense feelings of yearning, LSBBB, a profound longing often interpreted as the soul's yearning for the divine. The imagery here suggests that the poet is beyond earthly attachments, embracing the higher love connecting the soul to God. Divine connection, the poem moves towards describing an exclusive, sacred place where one can experience a closer relationship with God, depicted as a special station, MKNU, that mere physical or intellectual pursuits cannot attain. This alludes to Sufi metaphysical concepts such as closeness to the divine, Wal-Aij, and the transformative power of divine love, inspiring the reader with the potential for personal transformation. Spiritual leadership and wisdom. Imam Al-Jilani speaks of the elevated status of those who have reached spiritual maturity, likening them to leaders whose influence is far-reaching, yet rooted in divine authority. The mention of kingship, muluki, and the spiritual sovereignty of the saints emphasizes their revered status in the Sufi tradition, the role of love and surrender. The poet reflects on how love for the divine becomes all-consuming, leading to complete surrender and devotion. The Sufi concept of fana, fading into the divine, is referenced where worldly concerns and aspirations cease and only the love of God remains. Mystical experiences. Several stanzas describe profound mystical experiences, such as the intoxication, SKR, of divine love, where one loses all sense of worldly attachments, similar to the state of a lover intoxicated by the presence of the beloved. The imagery of the cup, Ks, and wine, Shabi, here evokes the concept of divine ecstasy, leaving the reader in awe of the depth of these experiences. Sacred union. The concluding lines reflect a state of spiritual elevation, where the poet, having reached the highest spiritual stations, is given the privilege of direct vision and proximity to the divine. This is often marked by visions and divine light, representing enlightenment and direct communion with God. The text is part of a collection of poetic verses from a Sufi tradition attributed to figures like Imam Al-Jilani, with a deep exploration of mystical and spiritual themes. These verses touch on the experiences of love, devotion, and spiritual states that are central to Sufism, often conveying the intense and profound longing for the divine. This deep spiritual connection is a central theme in Sufi poetry, along with the idea of divine love as a transformative force and the elevated spiritual status of specific individuals like saints or saints in the Sufi tradition. The references to the heart, LQLB, drunkenness, SKR, and vision, Enzere, are highly symbolic in Sufi poetry, pointing toward the spiritual intoxication and enlightenment that comes with experiencing divine presence and knowledge. The imagery of rays, rit, cups, lixt, and kingship, mulk, also hints at the concept of divine bestowal, where the divine bestows power, wisdom, and grace upon those who achieve spiritual union with the divine. This bestowal is not a physical act, but a spiritual one, where the recipient is imbued with these qualities through their spiritual journey. Each of these verses suggests the unfolding of an inner, mystical journey marked by experiences of divine proximity, visionary insight, and the profound spiritual authority that comes with spiritual union. For example, the noble gaze, Enzerai, in Sufi poetry is often understood as the divine's gaze upon the mystic, which bestows spiritual insight and profoundly intoxicates the lover of God, empowering them with spiritual authority. The drunkenness mentioned earlier likely refers to a state of spiritual ecstasy in which the soul is overwhelmed by divine love, causing the seeker to lose awareness of anything but the beloved, God. In this context, it also represents transcending the ordinary self and entering into a state of pure surrender and divine unity. I can help you explore these themes further or analyze specific lines from your shared text. For example, we could delve into the verse, "In the wine of love, I am drunk," to understand the symbolism of drunkenness in Sufi poetry. Let me know how you'd like to proceed.